Welcome back. Alderbrook Resort and Spa offers beautiful views of Hood Canal along with the freshest foraged Pacific Northwest cuisine. And they're also hosting an exclusive culinary experience called the Gathering Grove Dinner Series. And that's where you can enjoy a private dinner in the forest.
That sounds magical. But today we are learning how to make one of their salmon dishes. For that, we are joined by Executive Chef Sarah Harvey. Hello.
Hi, how's it going?
Good. Excited to have you here.
Thanks, I'm delighted to be here.
So for those that haven't been, tell us a little bit about what the resort is like, what the restaurant is like.
So we are super fortunate. We're a historic property on the Hood Canal. We've been there since 1913. So we have our own hiking trails where we forage mushrooms. We have our own oyster beds where we farm oysters. And we are working with our Skokomish tribal partners to source really beautiful salmon. We have about a 6-week season on the canal. So outside of that, we work with Creative King out of BC in Tofino to bring in organic, sustainable, fresh salmon year-round for our guests. So we're super excited about that program. We'll be cooking a little bit of that today with some of the mushrooms that we got from Adam's Mushrooms out of Bremerton. Some are foraged and some are cultivated by small house farms. So we're really excited about these. Have you ever cleaned a mushroom?
No.
Okay. So I like to cut them when I harvest and then use a little brush to just kind of get all of our little pine needles and little moss bits out of there. Does anybody want to give it a try?
Yeah, I'll give it a try here. Okay.
Yeah. This is probably a dumb question, but what part of the mushroom do you eat, or do we eat all of it?
So we eat the top. Mushrooms, mycology lives underneath the ground, and these are kind of their flowering little pieces.
Okay.
So imagine a huge network underground with all of these little mushroom flowers popping up.
Interesting.
So that's kind of what we're harvesting off.
Nice. So as she's working on that, tell us kind of what kind of dishes people can expect on the menu as we transition now from summer to fall.
It's my favorite season.
Oh,
so
yay.
we are shutting down our culinary garden. We planted a huge garden on property this year that I'm really excited about. We've got flowers, herbs, some small vegetables coming out of it. So as we shift into fall, we'll be doing a lot more of our foraged product. We'll be working more closely with our shellfish farmers. We just celebrated the return of oysters in the restaurant this week, and we'll be leaning a little bit more into kind of the warm starches, the fatty flavors, those really sexy textures that when you go out to a restaurant, a little bit different than you might eat at home with your steamed broccoli.
I love summer, but I love to eat in the winter. All the things you just mentioned. You're doing a great job.
Well, thank you. And I love to hear chefs talk about food because they make me so excited to eat whatever it is. Whatever. If it's sexy, I'm here for it.
Perfect. Well, I'm going to get our salmon in the pan with a little bit of the mushrooms. We also have a vegetarian version. We use tempeh and tofu in the restaurant, so we have a couple different gluten-free vegan options.
I love that.
On our dinner menu.
That's
so
awesome.
Really excited. We're just going to get this in the pan here.
Beautiful.
Tell us about the local foragers you work with. I hear you kind of source your vegetables from them.
We work with Adam's Mushrooms specifically for our mushrooms, and then I've got a couple of small farms that we work with. South Sound Fresh is a local aggregate, so they bring in all kinds of herbs and vegetables, squash for us through the summer, all that kind of good stuff.
It looks like we're having an uncooperative stovetop here. There it goes. It happens.
Perfect.
If anyone could fix it, And while we're talking about that, as this heats up, tell us a little bit about the Gathering Grove Dinner Series. It's so unique in a forest.
So we launched this program right before COVID happened, a couple years before that. So we were super excited to have this outdoor dining space. Ownership was really big into hiking. We're a family-friendly, dog-friendly resort, so we have all these trails. And we thought it would be super fun to put a dining room up in the woods. So we have this huge fire pit up there. We bring up propane stoves in the summer, just like this. I recommend everybody get a great butane stove if you're going to go camping. It's way better than trying to cook on whatever fire pit you have. So we bring those up there, and then we set the tables with Pendleton blankets, foraged and found china that we find at estate sales, all kinds of fun things. So we kind of do like bougie in the woods up there. It's very glamping vibes.
Oh my God.
A beautiful bar. We'll be cooking. This season we did a rabbit and venison and boar. Washington has all of those in our forest, so we were excited to feature that on the menu. And then heading into fall, when the shellfish and the fish start coming back around, we do a little bit of a pivot. So end of this month, on the 28th, we are doing our last Gathering Grove of the season, ticketed. We still have a couple seats available online on our website. If anybody's interested, I'd get in there quickly, though, because they are moving fast. But we have one tonight, and we did one last week as well. So it's been so fun to have folks up in the forest. Normally it's a private group, so private sales groups. And then we do corporate parties and things, but done a couple weddings.
Yeah.
But normally we don't let just folks buy tickets. So this is really, really exciting for us.
Awesome.
What's the next step in the process?
So once we get the salmon cooking, I like to render the skin out a little bit and then add in some of our beautiful mushrooms. So we've got lobster mushrooms, oyster mushrooms, and shiitake mushrooms today.
I've never tried a lobster mushroom. Is that because of the color?
Yeah, so lobsters are super cool. It's actually two kinds of mushrooms. So we've got our base mushroom, usually a bolete, and then there's a bacteria that takes over. So it's this really cool symbiotic relationship that gives it this orange kind of edge on it. And it's got a cheesy, almost kind of like that fatty lobster flavor.
Okay, interesting.
We play around with dishes where we use lobster mushrooms in a vegan dish. As lobster in there, which is really fun.
Nice.
We'll get those in there. And then I've got some carrots that I cooked off last night. So we will also feature a little bit of that.
Beautiful. I know Carly loves a carrot.
I love a carrot, you know? And these are so bright. I was saying they're almost like the color of salmon here.
They are.
It's fun. We were having a lot of fun with this dish using marigolds out of the garden, carrots, lobster mushrooms, and then the salmon. So we've got this beautiful palette. And then I'll turn this off because we're getting a little smoky.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Oh my gosh, that's beautiful. All right, what do we have?
And then we're going to season this with ramp salt. So we harvested ramps last season, dried them in our dehydrator, and then put them into some flake salt. I like to use Malden.
Beautiful.
Cool. So we'll just get this in here. And then we're going to finish this dish with a little bit of our walnut gremolata. So gremolata is kind of it's a little bit of like a sauce, olive oil, parsley, lemon. We're going to use orange instead of lemon today because we really want those sweeter flavors to complement the kind of salty mushroom umami vibes we've got going on.
Awesome.
Yeah. And then I've got a saffron aioli that we are going to finish the plate with.
Beautiful. I know we only have about a minute left, so can we try our TV magic dish?
Yeah, let's get in there.
Let's drop our forks.
So we've got a salmon dish right here.
Okay. That is so gorgeous.
This is beautiful, and I can see that.
this is the
saffron
tempeh?
And this is the tempeh. So we marinated it with a little bit of balsamic, olive oil, some herbs out of the garden, and then finished it again with our walnut gremolata.
This is just so beautiful. I'm worried I'm taking too big of a bite, but let's see what happens.
I took too big a bite, and I don't regret it.
If you make it out to the resort, we have a beverage pairing program too that I'm really excited about. So we just launched this white wine this year, Silesia. It pairs super well with shellfish and fish.
Oh, this is amazing.
I really appreciate the carrot to the veggie dish too. This is just like absolutely fantastic. Sarah, thank you so much for coming in.
You're welcome.
This is wonderful. More info on Alderbrook Resort and Spa on their Gathering Grove dinner, which sounds amazing, on our website, fox13seattle.com/Studio 13 Live. See you tomorrow in Everett.